academy in world football over the years.
La Masia Academy, of course, has been one of the most efficient when it comes to football matters over the years. Let's go now, and of course, let's talk more about this man, a legend in making, who has traversed the length and breadth of football, retired at the age of 40, and of course, what a profile about him. And he played for one of the successful clubs, like I said, in Barca. He won 8 La Liga titles, 4 Champions League trophies, and countless other accolades followed. Consecutively, he was in the FIFA Best 11, UEFA Best 11, and in his reigning days with Barca team, it looks like at that time that unarguably one of the best midfielders of his time.
Yeah, definitely. Due to the input of Pep Guardiola, which he played under, I want to believe that as at that time, Barcelona were the most prominent team in world football, and that midfield trio of Xavi Hernandez as well as Sergio Busquets alongside Andres Iniesta was a formidable midfield trio. I think in world football at that time, there was no other midfield that were better than those midfield trio, and Andres Iniesta was a huge part of that trio. He was the, will I say, number 10 in that trio. He played as the number 10 role, sometimes number 8, and he was very, very fantastic playing in that midfield trio, as well as playing in the Spanish national team as well, because let's not forget that that same midfield trio was a huge part to the success of the Spanish male national team. So yeah, Andres Iniesta, I want to give thumbs up to him, as well as his coaches that he played under, because they saw the star, they saw the influence of Andres Iniesta, they saw the capacity and the brilliance of Andres Iniesta. They gave him the opportunity, and Iniesta took it. Having such a career, over 20 something years of a football career, played 16 years in Barcelona, I feel like, yeah, it was worth it.
It was really worth it, and of course, if you look at his 22-year career at Barca, you just want to believe that he did so well. A blend of Puyol, Sergio Busquets, like you mentioned, Xavi Hernandez, Lionel Messi, Gerard Piqué. I mean, these are players that he really had a lovely time with, and I mean, a lot. But since he left the side, it looks like the golden generation of Barca, are we going to have another golden generation of Barca, looking at the exploits, these names I just mentioned alongside the
what's his name now?
The young Ghanaian.
Xavi, the likes of Pedri, Gavi, the likes of Yamin Lamar were all promoted by Xavi Hernandez. I think he actually knows what it means to play for the La Masia team, and he knows what it means for players from that La Masia academy to get promoted to the first team, and I think he understands the culture of the Barcelona team. Let's not forget Luis Enrique as well. I think he did great for the Barcelona team, winning them the Champions League. So that culture still always lies with.
He has done a lot for the Spanish side.
For me, I feel like having such a huge amount of cap and matches for your national team is something that you should be commended for. Having such an appearance. Not all players won't have the opportunity to have over 100 caps for their senior national team. So for a player like Andres Iniesta to play much, it means that he showed them consistency, and he shows them determination, and he showed class when it comes to representing his senior national team. And let's not forget that he played in a lot of senior national tournaments, like the World Cup. He played in different World Cups. He played in different Euros as well. And let's not forget that he actually did well in those competitions. He did actually well in those competitions, especially being creative enough for the Spain national team. I think his creativity gave them a lot of success as well, because we know over the years the Spain national team have been successful, and I think Andres Iniesta was a huge impact and a huge will I say he was a huge cause for that success. He actually gave his all for the senior Spain national team. So I feel like, yeah, definitely Andres Iniesta, he actually did it with his national team.
And when he won the World Cup with the formidable Spanish side, you think that was the high point of his career?
Yes, definitely. Nobody can forget that extra time winner over there in South Africa against the Netherlands team. We all knew how Spain were very, very fantastic in that tournament. I think they actually lost their first game in the tournament.
Lost to Switzerland in the
Yeah,
first
they
game.
lost their first game in the tournament. They actually came back to win their second and their third game in the group stages, which actually led them to that final against the Netherlands team and granted them their first senior national team trophy. I think for me, it was a fantastic one. Nobody can forget the role Andres Iniesta played in enabling Spain to lead that trophy. And all you say is history.
All you say is history, and there's one thing about history. Why teams that loses the first game always go ahead to went ahead to win the World Cup. Think about Argentina recently. They also won the World Cup after losing to Saudi Arabia. But a lot to talk about today because we're profiling that man, Andres Iniesta, who of course had a very lovely time with the Barca side from La Masia down to Barcelona. A man who lives in the hinterland of Spain, and he emerged as one of the best players in the world. From Barca, he moved in 2018 to the Japan Pro League, and of course, not much was heard about him at the time when he was playing for Japan. Another person would have questioned, there are other clubs in Europe. If you want to leave Barca, you should have moved to a nearby. Sometimes you go to lesser club, where your impact can still be felt. You think his achievement was a little bit dimmed when he moved to Japan?
Yeah, for me, I want to agree with you. Yeah, for me, it was a little bit dim because we all know that European football is the highest when it comes to playing football all over the world. Everybody wants to play in a European scene or in a European league, the likes of the Spanish La Liga, the Italian Serie A, the big leagues in the world, all hails from Europe. So going over there to play in an Asian league was something a lot of people didn't see coming. But Andres Iniesta, he knew his reasons for making that switch over there to Asia. A lot of people might say it's because of the money, because we know how the Asian teams have put money into football over the couple of years. The Chinese league, the Japanese league, as well as the Saudi leagues have been
but at the time he left, the Japanese league isn't as glamorous as they used to be.
Yeah.
I know that the Chinese league, before the Saudi league came up, a lot of talks around the Chinese league, the Japanese league, but one would say it's more like a tourist adventure for him to also rest, having played almost all his life. So maybe the feeling of, okay, let me just go there and rest. Maybe not for any achievement like we're seeing from Cristiano Ronaldo, if you compare and contrast the level of achievement.
Yeah, definitely. For me, I think that money was a factor in him making that move because as at that point of his career, I think Barcelona were not willing to extend his contract, and I think Barcelona, they were in some financial difficulties as well. They had to let a lot of players go, some quality players. Iniesta was one of those players. I think in 2018, the likes of Luis Enrique were still in that team because I think he was with them in 2015. I think he stayed about 3 seasons with them. So the likes of Luis Enrique was not willing to play Andres Iniesta any longer, so he needed to make that switch over there. A lot of people still felt that he would have remained in Europe, but I think he just needed to make that move elsewhere, and he went to the Japanese league, Vissel Kobe, which he actually didn't really do bad because he was a squad player. He was coming up as substitutions. He was even playing games, so he brought a lot of fame and a lot of money to the league as well. As a big player, a World Cup winner, a player that had done it all in Europe, going over there to Japan, I think it actually promoted the Japanese league as well. So I feel like Andres Iniesta, he actually did well over there in Japan.
When you look at his playing style, and you wonder or compare him to the likes of Arjen Robben, compared with the likes of Xavi Hernandez, his teammates, look at the greats around him then. Will you say his efforts around football and the fact that he never won any major accolade like Ballon d'Or, and when we used to have the UEFA, a player or FIFA Player of the Year, what could be attributed to that, or what factor will you hold on to say he was one of the best, no doubt? Why didn't he win these accolades?
Yeah, for me, I want to feel or think that Andres Iniesta was hiding under the shadow of a lot of players, and there were a lot of factors that didn't actually warrant him to win such will I say, individual awards like the Ballon d'Or, the FIFA Best Player of the Year. A lot of factors actually hindered him not winning that. And let's not forget, most of these awards are based on popularity status and votes from let's say club captains, club managers, and the rest. And let's not forget, once a player is as popular, he actually has a certain edge over the other player. A player like Andres Iniesta, when it comes to individual awards, I feel like he would have won 1 or 2 individual awards. But let's not forget that he played alongside great players like the likes of Lionel Messi as well, the likes of Ronaldinho as well. That as at that point in time, they were also at their peak and at their best also. And then let's not forget, they were also as popular as Andres Iniesta. So as at that time, I think Iniesta would have done all he could to win awards, but it was not just meant to be.
It was not meant to be, and of course, maybe the internal, how will I call it, dramatic rivalry between Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo, and also getting to see Ronaldo play in Spain for Real Madrid also heightened the fact that the both players were in a class of their own. But then, let's take a look at his contemporaries. You talk about Steven Gerrard for Liverpool. You talk about Sergio Busquets, his colleague. You talk about Frank Lampard. You know, you talk about big names like Fabregas, Cesc Fabregas for Arsenal. These are players, his contemporaries. And you ask, you look at among them and you ask, did he merit to be christened one of the best midfielder among this trio? Or you think that his style of play is a little bit different as compared to others who, of course, one would naturally just respect the different style of play that these players bring to their various teams? Yeah,
in as much as all the players you just mentioned have different styles of play and different individual, let's say, performances for themselves. I want to believe that Andres Iniesta was a bit special among the other players because his pattern of play was a bit different. He was not a kind of midfielder that would give you 10-15 goals a season, but he was a very, very, very calm midfielder. He was very, very, and his vision when it comes to playing that midfield role was very, very, very extraordinary. We know how he split defenses with his passes, and we know how he was able to control the ball. He was able to make just that he had that edge over the other midfielders in the sense that he also won a lot of laurels when it comes to playing for Barcelona. As at that point in time, Barcelona were the best team in the whole of Europe, and they dominated Europe. Let's not forget the 2009 season when Barcelona won about 5 to 6 trophies that particular season under Pep Guardiola. They won the treble as well, winning the FIFA Club World Cups. And let's not forget that Andres Iniesta was a huge part, and he was he played a major role in making sure that Barcelona had such success. The likes of Steven Gerrard at that time, he was doing well for himself as well, but when it comes to winning those laurels, his club couldn't achieve what Barcelona were achieving as at that time. Frank Lampard, it took him a little time before he started achieving. When he played under Frank Rijkaard, if I'm not mistaken, when he won the Champions League final against the Arsenal team,
2006.
Yeah, when he won the Champions League final, he played a huge role for that Barcelona team. As at that point in time, his career was just coming up, and he was still a young, prominent footballer. I think Frank Rijkaard was one of those coaches that actually gave him the opportunity, and he actually believed in him, giving him a lot of playing and time. And Iniesta actually took it, and he actually was the coach. And from there on, Andres Iniesta made that midfield his own, and he was a huge part of the Barcelona team from there on. He played under the likes of Pep Guardiola as well, and we all know how Pep Guardiola dominated football for the season of his career. He was coached under the management of what's his name now, Luis Enrique. They actually won the Champions League together in 2015. I think that was the last major European laurel that he actually won in Europe. And I think Luis Enrique actually used him to his best potential, and he actually did well playing him and giving him opportunities as well before bringing in the likes of other young midfielders in the later stages of his career. So I feel his managers actually saw what he could offer to the team, and he was actually given opportunity by those managers. So I feel like Andres Iniesta, he should give kudos to his managers as well, because not all managers will give a young player like Andres Iniesta the opportunity for him to play at that particular time.
And then now let's, coast home now with the impact a lot of person felt when they announced his retirement. Obviously, not many have seen him for a very long time. Okay, so this week, when the announcement of his retirement was made, did it come to you as a surprise?
For me, I wouldn't say I was surprised because over the last couple of years, I've been one of those people tipping him maybe to have had an early retirement, maybe after he left Barcelona. I think as at that point in time, he was on a high. So if he would have retired at that point in time, it would have been a thing to celebrate. The whole Barcelona and the whole Spanish national team, as at that time, would have celebrated him glamorously. And I think retiring now, as at that time, it would have been something to comment, as in the whole of Spain would have known that a player like Andres Iniesta is retiring, but leaving his retirement late and taking the bow as at now, a lot of people didn't see that coming. But for me, I want to think that believe that I was one of those people hoping that he would have retired earlier. So for me, it's not a surprise.
Not a surprise, and of course, it is the end of an era. But the memories of Andres Iniesta has left us to get to see how far he's been able to achieve. And I can tell you for sure that a lot of talks about Andres Iniesta. And he, in an interview today, when within the week when he was the announcement came, he talked about his plan for coaching, and a lot of talks what next for him now. He was very inspiring when he mentioned the things that will keep him going, and have the fans will miss his playing career and all that. But truly, delving into coaching, these days it's easier for players who just retire to delve into coaching. Another person will be asking, do you think Andres Iniesta can become one of the foremost coach that will be reckoned with later in the future?
Yeah, for me, over the years, we've seen a lot of good, prominent midfielders become good coaches. The likes of Zinedine Zidane, we saw what he did with the Real Madrid team, winning Champions League 3 times in a row. And I think in his playing days, he was one of the most fantastic midfielders. We've seen